Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
This is the story of a comeback, not for this president, but for one of his men. In 1973, Jeb Magruder was a power behind the throne. He had just engineered the most successful presidential campaign in history.
At the Republican National Convention last year, Jeb Stuart Magruder was to be seen by the camera very often. His climb to success had been steady and sure.
19 years later, it's not his rise to fame we remember, but his fall. What's the first reaction you get when someone hears the name Jeb Magruder?
They sort of say, gee, didn't you work for...
It's been alleged that Magruder was deeply involved in dirty tricks.
Watergate is what people remember about Jeb Magruder.
Well, I have still a number of friends that are in the White House, yes, but...
It was Magruder who authorized the break-in and bugging of the Democratic headquarters in Washington, D.C.
It included electronic surveillance and photography of photographing of documents.
And when the burglars got caught, Magruder lied to cover the crime.
And when you were interviewed by the FBI, did you tell this false story to the FBI?
Yes, I did.
By the time Magruder told the true story at the Watergate hearings,
Mr. Liddy was truly the one who did originate it. And
the minor burglary of the Democrats had taken something from the entire nation.
Well, the worst thing I think I did and we all did was betray the trust of the American people. All of us, including the president, brought down the presidency of this country.
We leave with high hopes, in good spirit, and with deep humility.
Just how far did you fall?
Oh, all the way. I mean, I was in the White House, and then I was in prison.
In prison for 7 months. This is where you spent time in prison?
That's where I spent time in prison, yeah. You know, and they always show, well, they're out there playing handball out there on the...
Boy Scout without a compass? Was that who you were?
No, well, that's who they said. That was from a famous discussion I had with my old chaplain, William Sloane Coffin.
The Reverend William Sloane Coffin also remembers that discussion. You taught Jeb Magruder ethics.
Yeah. I was the only one who gave him a C. That's the only thing I can take credit for.
Reverend Coffin has known Magruder since he was a college senior.
He had lots of ambition, and he got caught up with that Nixon crowd, and he didn't have the guts to say no.
We followed Richard Nixon because we thought he was right, because we thought he had the best program for the United States.
But was it also because you liked the job you have? You liked being in the White House?
And you knew that if you didn't do it, you were not going to be there.
Is Jeb any different than anybody else? Did he do anything any worse than anyone else?
Yeah, because he was in a position of much greater responsibility.
Now, if you make a mistake, like something like that, can you be redeemed?
Of course you can. The whole church is founded on a second chance.
And it happens to be a church where Jeb Magruder is getting his second chance. Now, the Reverend Jeb Magruder.
The redemption for me was the church.
Thou flowing water, pure and clear,
He is senior minister of First Presbyterian Church in Lexington, Kentucky, the sinner in the robes of a saint.
I was on the college campuses when Watergate broke. It was a very painful time for the country. It was a tough time on the college campuses.
Patty Newton is a church member.
So when I first heard that Jeb was coming to our church, I felt like maybe a lot of people might. I was pretty cynical about who was this man.
In defeat, he saves us from despair. In victory, he saves us from ourselves.
It's been 10 years and 3 churches for Magruder, and in that time, he's won over most of his critics, including Patty.
He has compassion for all people.
5 years ago, she married him.
Jeb wouldn't be in the ministry if it weren't for Watergate.
For your message, I appreciate
Good,
it.
thank you. Nice to see you.
I think he can minister to people who are in pain because he still experiences pain from that. And his marriage broke up as a result of that. He lost his career as a result of that.
Come see me sometime.
Hi, I'm Lori.
Hi, Lori.
He thinks we all experience pain.
One of the things that bothered me for a long time was, could I ever do anything as meaningful as the White House?
And keep all his decrees and his commandments that I am commanding you
The man who gained the world only to lose his soul is trying to find it.
I have really much more real power in the sense of affecting people's lives. Not manipulating people's lives, but affecting them. And in a sense, isn't that really more important?
The world is made up of sinners who think they're saints and saints who know they're sinners. A real saint is a forgiven sinner.
So that could be Jeb Magruder.
Could be, and I certainly hope it is. If you meet Jeb and you feel this is an authentic person, then he's deserving of respect. But who's to say, finally? Only God.